in that I feel that the think tank, don't get me wrong, they're all very, very clever, but they're going senile. Now, there is no idea what kind of horrors they can unleash onto the wasteland if left unchecked. So, let's finish this.
The lobotomite returns. Our lobotomite. Has Dr. Mobius been denominated into scrap metal and voice module parts, as we hoped?
Not exactly, Klein. I found my brain, now you and I are gonna settle things.
I recommend watching your tone with me, lobotomite. Now, your brain. Hand it over, or we'll extract it again.
I forget why they wanted my brain, but never mind. I'm not handing my brain over. There's some things we should discuss.
And what could we possibly have to speak about? You have the brain, we have the technology. All you must do is surrender. With it, we can finally leave this place. I cannot tell you how boring this place gets, chopping up the landscape and everything in it. And we have so many questions to ask your brain first. About this Mojave place. A fertile testing ground for our experiments.
See, I just do not trust them. Now basically, there's a few different ways you can end this quest. If you've got high skills, then you can do it the way I'm going to do it, but you can also, if you do a lot of the side quests associated with the other members of the think tank, you can actually get them to side against Klein. But we're going to go with the speech check. You think I am the lobotomite? No. For my skull houses the brain of Mobius.
That is the most insane thing I've ever heard. There's no way Mobius would condescend to step inside you. Besides, there's no way such a thing could be accomplished. It's impossible.
Unpossible. Science of 100 skill check. Nothing is impossible for science. Mesons, lasers, atoms, brainwaves, all are at my command.
You speak the truth. And the decibel variation in your voice, it is Mobius. How dare you breach the think tank? And what do you want here?
I offer a deal. Stay here, stay put, and I'll let you live.
That's no deal at all. There's a whole world beyond the crater, filled with ideas and possibilities. We could have escaped, seen it all for ourselves, tested it, prodded at it, made it squirm.
Now, I never understand this part of it, because I don't like the answer you've got to give. I will permit you to do this for me. Now, to me, that's saying that you're going to let them do it. Now, I don't agree with that. I don't want them to get out of here. But I'll say that anyway.
Partner with you? My foe? My rival? My foremost critic? I have a strange sensation that I would like that. How odd. Very well, partner. The think tank is at your service as long as you do not destroy us.
Fair enough then. I actually didn't realise that. So basically, we've done it, folks, and we've done it the peaceful way. Now, because the other way is obviously you can kill them all, which is very tempting. In particular, Klein, because he's an arsehole. But the other option is that we've got is that we basically contain them ourselves and say to them, look, I tell you when you come out, and you do work for me. So, we've done it. When I go through that door, this will be the end of Old World Blues. There's some things that I have technically missed out in the area, but in general, I've done quite a good chunk of the options we can do here. Now, the other thing I'm just going to mention is that when the ending cutscene plays, I tried to get the ending for Roxy, and Roxy is the dog who we created. Now, I don't know how you get that ending, because you're supposed, if you've got Rex active, and you've got him waiting somewhere, And I was under the impression that you could actually... Well, what happens basically is that Roxy and Rex have puppies. They do the nasty. But I don't get that ending, and I'm not sure why. Whether I haven't met some kind of secret criteria, I'm really not sure. Before we do leave, actually, I'll just go to the sink for a minute.
As it had been in the years before the Great War, Big Mountain, the Big Empty, became home to one of the brightest minds of the 23rd century.
Sonny, do you mind moving?
The courier watched over the Big Empty for years to come, caring for it and keeping its discoveries safe until they were needed to help others. Which had always been Big Mountain's purpose. Past the laboratories and science, it had always been intended as a place to build the future of all mankind.
The courier had scoured much of the Big Empty, although secrets still remained in the crater's depths.
Now this particular...
Perhaps that was for the best, however. Curiosity, while sometimes rewarded for its efforts, often proves to be equally dangerous.
You only get the full
Dr.
reward for that
Looney
one
has
if you've discovered
continued his
35
research
locations. That
undisturbed
one
in the
was
Forbidden
17
Zone.
to 34.
As much as he had attempted to create better scorpions, he tried the same with humanity, with considerably less success. These failures didn't bother him overmuch. Once the rush of mentats wore off, he forgot he had failed in any event. After all, the bright young mind who had come to visit him in the Forbidden Zone had already exceeded his expectations.
That's me.
The sink atop the dome bustled with the voices of a small town, constantly chirping, arguing, and snarling at each other. Still, this all happened productively in the interests of its new owner. The Sync Central Intelligence Unit discovered, despite its inversion code, it was comforted by the sense of community the other personalities gave it.
The Biological Research Station, obsessed with seeding everything in sight, requested a transfer to the X-22 Botanical Garden, so that it might, in its own words, sensually fertilize the garden's smooth contours.
Dirty sod.
The garden sent back a polite refusal, saying it had prior commitments with a vault it had helped infect before the war.
Ah.
The thing continued to ruthlessly scrub any particulate matter that came near it. Eventually, it gained access to the magnetohydraulics plant and nearly flooded all the Big Empty in an attempt to scrub the crater clean.
The toaster continued its psychotic spree,
Whoa.
reducing all appliances in range to scrap electronics and spare parts.
Epic toaster.
After one of its more psychotic episodes, however, the other Sync personalities decided enough was enough and dumped the toaster in a bathtub. Sparking and hissing, the toaster swore its enemies would rue the day when they had bread and no way to toast it.
Muggy did his best to collect coffee cups, although in his quest, he accidentally trapped himself in Higgs Village. It might have been the end for poor Muggy.
I hope not. I like you, Muggy.
Except he found it peaceful there, tidying up the kitchens of the think tank professors back when they had been flesh and bone. Well, except for Dr. O, who was an asshole for having created Muggy in the first place.
Poor old Muggy.
Left O's house deliberately dirty, punishing the dishes and cups that lived there in blind revenge for serving Dr. O.
Blind-eye old Jefferson eventually discovered a new sound. Silence. It only made him more filled with the blues than before.
Autodoc, always gentle and methodical, kept sewing up the courier in all the right places when the skin split open from repeated wear and tear. The Autodoc was just glad to have purpose again. It heard its simpler brothers and sisters who got shipped to the Sierra Madre were bored out of their skulls in that toxic dead city. In time, the Autodoc found a way to deactivate the Y-17 trauma harnesses. releasing the corpses they had held prisoner for almost 200 years.
Now that's a good outcome.
As the courier ran through the X8 facility multiple times, the computers analyzed the test subject's movements. Rather than performing a superficial observation, they realized the subject barely knew what communism was, or even what a high school was. This confused them for a time, until the facility finally realized that its research had succeeded. So it let its cyber dogs out into the wastes to help protect small communities from physical aggression rather than communist propaganda.
Good outcome for the
The
wasteland.
infiltration program in X-13 felt spent, having repeatedly upgraded the stealth suit until it could upgrade it no more. It felt warm, fulfilled, and a bit sluggish. It realized not long after the stealth suit had left it without so much as a note on the nightstand. So the infiltration program sent out robo-brains into the wastes, looking for its wayward technology. It eventually found